You're very excited about the upcoming league, but are not fully sure what league mechanics to actually farm week 1. I think I have something that interests you. Hey, I'm Cyclon, and today I'm going to share with you my full week 1 league start plan, including all strategies, my thoughts behind it, and what I expect to get from them. Now, we're going to go them all step by step. In the description, of course, is going to be a link to all the trees, and I'm going to try to keep it as brief and informative as possible. Now, starting with the beginning of maps, we just killed Kitava, and now my goal will be to get to high tier maps, to red tier maps as quickly as possible. Now, there are some things that I need to consider to get there consistently. Currently, the best way to reach high tier maps quickly and efficiently is utilizing Wandering Path. Now, there are different variants for going with Wandering Path. The one I prefer is going to go over the left flank. During the whole early passive tree steps, my goal is to be very efficient for the early stages of pathing, so I don't need to respec as little as possible. So, if you just want to get quickly to Wandering Path, the quickest you can get there is 60 nodes, which means after 60 maps you could be there. However, you will spending a lot of points just on getting nodes that don't really do much for you in the early stage. Instead, what you could do is, if you take a look at just rushing the middle lower point of the item quantity wheel, which is just 4 points away from Wandering Path, you see that you could take the left flank or the right flank path that are going to be way more efficient in terms of overall, not fastest, but most efficient, because all the nodes leading up to it are either maps have a chance to be duplicated, which is something we want later on, or there's a chance for monster in the map to drop an adjacent map when dying. And that is pretty good too, which is actually the thing that we want to pick up after we get Wandering Path. So the best passing is going over the left side actually. Now, the left and right side are the same amount of points. Why is the left side better? That is because after a bit, once we get into red maps, once we have our Burning Ground immunity, we want to pick up the Searing, Exarch, Influence, pack size nodes and the rest of the Cosmos. This will allow us to just get a ton of Searing Exarch minions in our maps, because those are duplicated by Wandering Path, and the rest of the Cosmos, making it harder but also more rewarding. This will then transition slowly into our first league start strategy. But before that, there are a few things we need to consider. Before we're going to go for Wandering Path, our first actual step is shaping the skies. This will give us a 25% chance to get the map of 1 tier higher. So 1 in 4 maps is guaranteed to be a tier higher, helping us getting through the first stages of map tiers. We then rush Wandering Path and going to go for exactly 100% chance to get an adjacent node. Now, that will require us to get exactly 25 of these nodes, which get doubled from 2 to 4%. Once we have that, we are going to focus on getting the other higher map tier chance nodes, getting us to 100% chance of getting an additional tier on our maps, as well as getting the 100% of the dropping a monster in the map dropping our map. So, with this, we now guaranteed to have a good amount of map supplies every map. The next thing to further improve our map supplies is to grab the duplication nodes. Now, for you watching and not just listening on the video, you will see that I have 2 nodes over the right side that are going to require, 1 node over the right side that requires adjacent map drop chance. The reason why I have that exactly one node over there is that I do need this for getting the Legion later. Legion is a strategy we want to run in later stages, so this is again for overall efficiency with respec points. At this point, you should also have done the first Maven imitation, which allows you to deselect shaping the skies. Now, with this, you have really decent chance of getting, or you have a good map sustain, and we are looking to get our map completion, and we're going to look to get the Exarch. So we're focusing on map completion, we focus on getting our void stones, unlocking our map favorite slots, and eventually we have the Exarch. We have reached T16 maps, and we're going to pick up Growing Hordes. We're then going to pick up Singular Focus, and combining with Growing Hordes, 4 random rusted scarabs that we don't really care about for later strategies, so I prefer to not use rusted sulfide scarabs in this stage. We can start doing our first strategy. Now that we have finished our mapping, map completion, we have our favorite slots, we have our passive points, we are now looking to run maps for profit. The goal is to have as many Searing Exarch altars as possible, getting as many minion rewards as possible, and getting a ton of scarabs, a ton of currency from our Searing Exarch minion kills. To do that, we're going to use the following. This is a strategy that I've seen from Snoobase, so I do mention him here. Thanks a lot for the idea of the strategy. I hope mine isn't the exact copy from this, but just an adjustment, as I haven't ever watched really the full video. I just know he is doing that. Mausoleum has a map boss that actually spawns delayed. If you enter the boss arena, he spawns after a time, but this means that when you enter the map and you get an altar from the extra spawned, there's actually not going to be one of three or two of three options. There are only going to be 2 options, on the player or on the minion. And we're always going to pick on the minions, meaning that we're going to be as safe as possible, clearing the map as fast as possible, and getting as many rewards as possible from killing the minions. So overall, this strategy is going to be 4 rusted scarabs, no sextants, or 4 random sextants if you do prefer to have them, but you don't really need them. We don't really care about the sextants, we just care about having as many minions as possible from the Searing Exarch there, so just as many monster packs there, and going to kill them and going to get their loot. We have a 37% chance for map drops to be duplicated. We have a guaranteed map drop per map. Because we already have 2 void stones, we have 150% for map drop to be higher, 100 from tree, and then 50 from void stones. We are going to have a lot of high tier maps dropped, and with singular focus they're going to be either Mausoleum, or they're going to be either of the connected maps to Mausoleum, because we're going to favorite one of these. That will mean that whenever we run out of Mausoleum, we're going to run the connected map. We're going to likely get 2 to 3 Mausoleums. We're going to run them until we have a few Mausoleums again, and then we're going to continue with the strategy using the rusted scarabs again, using Mausoleum. And this will be for the first few days of the league, our strategy. On day 3, I do plan to get into my next strategy. Now that I have a lot of currency and I have upgraded my character, I got a few level ups maybe on the character, I'm looking to get into Legion farming. Legion is just such a great strategy. I love Legion, it's so much loot, it's so rewarding, and it's a lot of fun to run. It's very satisfying standing in the middle of a Legion, having a great clear build, and just proccing almost everything in an instant. So what we are going to do is we're going to adjust our tree. We are going to keep the Searing Exarch, and we're going to expand a bit further on it, also getting the Light of Dawn and the Word of the Exarch notable, because now that we are not running Path anymore, we can actually use notables. We are then going to block a few league mechanics, blocking everything except Legion, Delirium, and Heist. Heist is something that doesn't take a lot of time. We're going to pick up the contracts, and we're hopefully going to sell the contracts. And if you're SSF, that's great. Heist is a lot of reward for you. Then we're going to pick up the shaping node so that we still keep our 100% chance to drop a map tier higher, so we have a good map sustain and we can sell over sustain on our maps. And we are going to start picking up all the Legion nodes, or well, almost all. We're going to pick up Monumental for the additional Legion chance. We're going to pick up Chain of Command for the additional Surgeons and their rewards. We're going to pick up Protected Battle to have enough time to kill our Legion in stasis so that we get most of our Legion as a reward. We're going to pick up Emblematic so we can get some emblems, especially hopefully Maracas and Templar ones, as well as the 2 lower nodes leading to it to get additional Legion chance. We're going to pick up Constant Battle for more Legion chance, and picking up the Templar Legion chance and the Maracas Legion chance node leading towards it. Then we're picking up War Supplies. War Supplies will allow us to have an additional horde and getting more rewards from them, as well, the more rewards come a bit later, as well as having them helping us clear out the rest of the Legion. And then we have Pillage Treasures for more horde rewards that it is now. And we have Logistical Support for a chance to get additional rewards on Legion monsters. The overall really profitable strategy with Legion, but we can make it a bit better. We're going to have some spare points. Those spare points we can put into Harbinger. Now Harbinger is something I only recommend running if you also have the Harbinger Sextant, as this one combined with Harbinger on the tree gives us a decent amount of chance to get fracturing shards. Once we have the Harbinger Sextant, we have First Wave, Unspeakable Offense, and Ominous Arrival, 3 nodes to get the most of our Harbinger, and we just get Harbinger and Legion, a very quick mapping combination. Now people could argue, why not overloaded circuits? Overloaded circuits will give us all 3 notables of Harbinger. However, that would mean we can't get Legion on our map device, and not getting Legion on our map device means we have less Legions per maps, which is sad because we want Legions. We want as many Legions as possible. Getting a Sextant, getting a Scarab, and getting the map device guaranteeing us 3 Legions, and getting, with the passive tree, a decent amount of chance for a 4th Legion each map. Now, we should still have some more spare points because our map completion should be done, so we can pick up Pact with Energy and Mining Byproducts. This will allow us to have a Sulfide Scarab each map to give us additional movement speed, max res, and damage, meaning we have faster maps, be a bit more tanky, and we do more damage each map, which is just great for the strategy. And with with Mining Byproducts, we even make a bit of money back from this. We're going to get some Azerite, which we can sell for 1 socket resonators, which do sell for 1 chaos eventually. Once they sell for 1 chaos, we can sell them in bigger bulks, trying to get a bigger margin from them. Finally, we get access to Shrine. Shrine with Supplication and Syncretism is the least amount of priority on this passive tree, but it's going to allow us to just have a chance for the Mobility Shrine, which is great, or the Guaranteed Crit Shrine, which is also great. Then we could combine it with the Gloom Shrine Sextant to have explosions on our build, and that would make running Legions even faster. Overall, the strategy aims to run Legions and Harbinger as quick as possible, having very efficient mapping time and getting a ton of loot from both. But this will not be our final strategy of week 1. Eventually, once we have further upgraded our character and the character is strong enough and survives good enough, we are looking at the final strategy of week 1, which will be Delirium. We are looking to farm daily orbs, either Skittering or Diviners, depending if stack decks are worth opening still at the point where you run it. If they aren't, just one Skittering, it's going to be a safer profit. The reason when stack decks are worth opening is because there are the most rewards that you can from opening stack decks. The diff cards can still be turned into something that is worth a few chaos, so the overall opening value of a stack deck is worth more than selling the stack deck, allowing you to run the maps, open the stack decks, turn them into rewards, and sell the rewards for a better profit than if you will just sell Scarabs, as selling Scarabs, especially early on, isn't per se the quickest. Buying is, I think, in the early on stage a bit quicker than selling, so just buying the orbs and selling a few high value items or decently valued items with stack decks should be worth better than Skittering. However, in case you prefer Skitterings or Skitterings is worth more, definitely go with Skitterings. Selling Scarabs and also sustaining your Scarabs is going to be more better in that case. Now to do that, we're going to focus on the following. We're going to focus on Abyss, taking the whole wheel at the top, or trail or chain or tail, however you want to phrase it, leading up to Trail of Destruction. We're also going to pick up Abyssal Army, and then we need a few more tiny Abyss nodes. We're going to pick up the 3 nodes leading to Underground Kingdom and the 3 nodes leading to Ancient Conflict. If you have spare points at the end, you can feel free to pick up Underground Kingdom and Ancient Conflict, however we just care about the tiny nodes. Like with Legion, we're going to keep our Searing Exarch and Wrath of the Cosmos, as well as the Light of Dawn notable and the World of Exarch notable. So we have our Exarch influence for additional sustainable currency loot from being Sextants and Chaos Orbs most likely. We're going to keep the chance for higher map tier. We're going to block League mechanics, everything except Breach and Abyss. And we're going to try to keep in Pact with Energy and Mining Byproducts to have our faster maps with slight rewarding as well. This should leave us with enough passive points to pick up most of the Breach nodes. Now we actually don't care about the quality of life of Breach, trying to get Chayulas, trying to get Urls. We only really care about the following: a lot of density. So we're going to pick up otherworldly artifacts over the left passing to get as much density as possible. Going to pick up Eve of Invasion to have a chance for additional breaches. We're going to pick up Flash breaches, so all breaches are a bit quicker. And then finally we're going to pick up Evolving Hives and Probing for weakness to have again more monsters in our breach and more chance for breaches. This strategy again aims to get as many Delirium rewards as possible. In order to do that, we need the following: we need a polished abyss and a polished breach scarab, as well as an additional breach and additional abyss sextant. And optionally, we can also use the Delirium buff. It's faster if it's still in a somewhat affordable state. And then we just get many rewards, and we sell all the scarabs we don't need, or we sell the stacked decks if we don't want to open them, or we trade in finished fulfilled stacked finished div cards, and we're going to sell the product of those. Altogether, this strategy should be very rewarding, especially in an early league scenario, but even if you only get to this at like week 2 or week 3, Delirium Orbs is always a rewarding strategy and always a very fun strategy. I just love Delirium, it's really fun to do, and especially if your build is strong enough to run 100% Delirium effortless, it feels so satisfying getting all those big Scarab explosions or stack decks explosions whenever you get to the next reward layer. All that being said, hopefully you now are equipped with league start strategies that allow you to farm currency at your own pace and going to allow you to upgrade your character up to the point where you feel comfortable with it. All that being said, have a wonderful day, and if this video was interesting, you might be interested in that one up there. Goodbye.